Hello. Happy Supernatural Sunday. Y'all know I gotta say something, give a good adjective before saying happy any day. It's gotta be something sensational. So, today's video is going to be about red flags when it comes to contractors. And I'm putting this video out because of the drama that you all know that I've experienced with my journey to finishing my basement. And no, it's not finished yet. I am still on the journey. I believe in the law of attraction, where you put out what you want in the universe, and you don't have to worry about the who, what, when, where, and how of things. Just know that you ask and it is given, and you put good things out, you get good things back in. So I'm a good person. I don't do people wrong. When things happen to me bad, I don't look at the downside or the negative. I just say, hey, that was a lesson learned. There's a lesson and a blessing in disguise in every situation. And I always say things don't happen to me, they happen for me. So when you think like that, you think of the brighter side of things, of the positive. So when you're going through a storm in life, you know that at the end of a storm, there's always a rainbow. So look forward for the rainbow instead of being miserable and moping while you're in the storm. So I say all that to say, red flag number one with my current situation with K&K Constructions, it was a red flag at the very beginning of our contract. And I should have kind of like stopped when I first saw the first red flag, but I kept going forward. You know, the first time I met him, he was telling me how he's a small business, and he said he would give me the copy of his business license, which he did. I didn't get a copy of his ID, which I should have, being that, you know, he's a small business and I don't know him. It would have been good to get a copy of his driver's license, because that is more than likely where his current address is, where he currently lives. So I didn't do that. That was a mistake on my behalf. But he was telling me this story about the fact that he had just lost his son in an accident. And, you know, he was a small business, and he was glad that I gave him the opportunity to work with him. So I took all that in and gave him the benefit of the doubt. He then started telling me, because I told him what I did, because I'm a special ed, pre-K special needs, special education teacher. So I told him about that. And I don't know if it was because he wanted to relate to me, but he basically told me that one of his workers was autistic. And I'm like, red flag. That's his worker's business. He should not have ever told me his worker's personal information like that. I felt like that was a violation of his worker's privacy, you know. So he told me that, and he basically was saying that he needed something to keep his mind off of the fact that he had lost his son the previous year. And, you know, I understood that. I don't know if he wanted like sympathy from me or empathy or whatever the case, but hey, I understood that. And, you know, because when you do business with people, you do want to be personable with them, but you also want to keep it professional, you know, So he was telling me those things. Like I said, I didn't like the fact that he told me about his worker's disability. But red flag number two, we signed a contract. He typed it up, which was good, and he emailed it to me. I printed 2 copies off. And in the contract, I was to give him $7,500 up front, which I did, before he started the work. That was his first installment. And then the week following that, it would be increments of $2,833 and some change until the very last payment, which the last payment is only to be due when the project is turnkey ready. That means when everything is done, the basement is fully finished and furnished, not furnished, but fully finished and move-in ready, you know. So I should have thought about it then when he said $7,500 up front, because I provided the funds and he didn't get to working like he needed to according to my standards for that amount of money. It took him a while to get started. And I was like, hey, I gave you $7,500. I want to see my money. You have done nothing down there. I think he put up a wall. And that was the gist of everything. And I was like, a week later or so, a couple days later, I'm like, what are you doing? I gave you $7,500. And then next week, I owe you $2,833 and some change. But what have you done so far with this $7,500 that I gave you? So that was a red flag, because when I confronted him about that, he had an attitude. Like, we kind of was going back and forth. You know, I was getting upset. I was angry. I was getting loud. He was upset. And he was basically saying that, well, per our contract, the $7,500 that you gave me up front has nothing to do with the amount of work that I am to do on the project. That was just per our contract. So when he said that, I'm like, yeah, red flag. You know, don't give someone that type of money up front. If anything, do a weekly amount, a minimum amount per week. As you do X, Y, and Z work, you get paid for X, Y, and Z that you've done. You know, but just to upfront give $7,500 and then they drag their feet. Like, he would come in for 3 hours and be out saying that, oh, I have to take my son. He had other kids besides the one that passed away. I have to take my son to the hospital or doctor's appointment. And who am I to tell you how to work your schedule? But the fact that I gave you a lump sum up front and little to no work has been done, I was irritated by that. So that was red flag number 2. So we get into it, and then he finally was like, okay, you know, I'm going to take care of business. I'm going to come in here. We're going to at least do the electrical and plumbing and pass the inspection. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give him a, you know, opportunity. But right then, when I saw that he was dragging his feet about doing the work for the $7,500 that I did give him, I should have kind of like stopped the process then. But I kept going. Like I say, he started showing improvements. He did do some work. And my thing with him was, one, red flag number 3. He is constantly going to Home Depot, like every other day. To the point where my dad was like, Home Depot is your new pimp. And I'm like, what? But it made sense, because it was like every other day I'm paying big money with Home Depot. And I know how to bargain shop. You know what I'm saying? I go to Builders Liquidators. You know, I go to, they have, I want to say, not the Salvation Army. Oh, goodness. It's slipping my mind. But there's a company that has like low income, like goods or materials, things that you may need, like trimming, cabinets, countertops. They have low price things that are marked down. Habitat for Humanity, that's the name of it. Sorry. But they have stores, resale stores, or resale stores, where you can go and purchase their goods. And they're brand new, just like brand new, really. And they're for lower prices. But he would always go running up the tab at Home Depot. If it's not Home Depot, it's Lowe's. And it's just like high price stuff. Like, for example, I had to get like Bluetooth speaker alarms, smoke detectors throughout the house, so that if something is going on upstairs or downstairs, all the alarms throughout the house will sound. Well, he wants to go to Home Depot. And they're high price. I ended up finding the same thing, better quality, lower price on Amazon. Like, literally. So he didn't care. That was red flag number 3. He didn't care about my expenses. I'm spending the money. Just tell me what I need. And I will go out and research and get it. And if I can't, then yes, you can go to Home Depot and get whatever you need to get. So that was red flag number 3. He didn't consult with me. He just would call me. I'm at Home Depot. This is the price. And I would ask the worker on Home Depot that would call me, what is in the cart? What is he getting? And they would tell me what he's getting. But there was no consideration for my funds and my budget. You know, I should have known that he was up to no good, because in order to get me to go with him, he put everything in the cart in Home Depot before we signed the contract or anything, just to prove to me that I should be able to afford his labor fee, plus the fact that I'm paying for all materials. And he had them all in the cart for like within my budget to make it seem as if this is feasible. Because that was another thing. His price for labor was like $10,000 more than what we agreed upon. So I knew that wasn't in my budget. So I talked him down. You know, like, no, this is not going to work out for me. I want to be able to afford the materials and your labor costs. So he went above and beyond to prove that, oh, this is all the materials you would need. Put them all in the cart in Home Depot. And it came up to a certain price and said, you know, you should be able to afford that if you pay me this X amount of money in labor. So I should have known then he was up to no good, because that was not the case. Like I say, that the labor, the material fee exceeded the amount that he said that it would be. Okay. So I dealt with him. You know, I did what I could do. I worked with him. And at this point, you know, I'm in deep. At this point, I done paid $7,500 and I've been paying $2,833 every week. So I'm in this thing deep, you know what I'm saying? And I even, you know, had problems with communication. That was another red flag. Like, when I would call him or reach out to him or text him, he would ignore me. Like, literally, his worker. I would have to reach out to one of his workers, the one that he said is autistic. And I say, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with Kenneth. What's going on? Oh, I'm sorry. We've been busy, you know, and all of this. But I'll have him call you. Or either he would just, you know, answer the question that I was asking of Kenneth. He'll be like, he's busy. You know, he told me to give you a call and answer your questions. So that was another thing. The communication was shaky. If you're a business owner, you need to be in communication with the people that you're working for. I shouldn't have to talk to your worker or have your worker be the middleman to relay messages. If I'm calling you, respond to me. Even if it's a text, hey, I'll get back with you tomorrow, or I'll get back with you in 20, 30 minutes, whatever the case. But just to outright ignore me, red flag. Your communication sucks. Okay? So I dealt with that. I'm like, okay. It was times where I felt like I was more lenient to him than I should have been, because he had personal issues he would tell me about. That's another red flag. You don't tell personal business when you're doing business, professional business for someone. I shouldn't know that your wife's car got repossessed. That's not my business. You know, I shouldn't know anything about your baby's moms and the drama that you guys go through. The fact that, you know, you can't come to work during the day because you have to be daddy daycare and you have to come to my home in the evening hours or nighttime. He asked me, what is too late to work at your home in the basement? I said, hey, I will give you the code to the back door. Come and go as you please. I just want the project done. You know what I'm saying? So another red flag was the first inspection we did not pass. We didn't pass the first inspection. He went toe-to-toe with me, explaining to me that, hey, I don't understand how you were even able to pull the permit. I've never heard of such a thing in Paulding County that the owner can pull the permit and you're not licensed to do electrical or plumbing work. I said, sir, here's the permit right here. If I wasn't able to pull it, I wouldn't have it in my hands. So he wanted to talk to another plumber, another electrician. And they was like, that sounds fishy, sir. You need to make sure that that's right. So none of them knew that a homeowner in Paulding County could pull their own permits. So they're thinking that I'm just making up stuff. And they gave me a permit by accident. So that was a red flag. He didn't believe what I was saying, to the fact that I had to have him call the inspectors, to speak to one of the inspectors, to make sure he understood that this is a valid permit from a homeowner, that you can work and not be licensed, and you can work under the permit that I pulled as long as the work is right. Either you're going to get approved by the inspection or you're not. So that was a red flag, that he didn't trust and believe that my permit was valid enough for him to work and do the work. And then on top of that, he was trying to say, well, I think I'm going to have to hire or outsource the work and hire another electrician. He was like, I can do the work myself, but if I have to hire a licensed electrician to do the work, then he's going to have to pull the permit himself and you're going to have to pay him. I said, no, I'm not. My business is with you. You're going to have to pay him out of what I'm paying you. That has nothing to do with me. That was another red flag. So there were so many red flags as to why that were presented for me to know that I should have not continued this business relationship with this man and his company. Let's fast forward to the fact that I did, the second time the inspectors came out, we finally passed inspection. And I wasn't in town when they came to do the inspection. I was out of town, but I knew that he would be here and his company would be here so that they can give them the paper showing proof that I passed. He never gave me the paper. I had to call the inspector's office, to get a copy of the past results. The fact that we passed inspection for electrical and plumbing. Red flag. He told his worker that he had given it to me or set it somewhere on my bench in my absence, even though I was out of town. I never saw that paper. Like, the dude was just not professional. He did not know how, and does not know how to communicate. He was not professional. He even receipts. For example, he go to Home Depot, I'm paying, and I'm like, as soon as you get back, I need my receipts. He would lose them. Oh, I forgot it in the glove compartment. It's in my car. I'll bring it tomorrow. Red flag. I don't even know to this day if he was using my monies to furnish and purchase materials for other jobs he was doing, because he would be on live on his Facebook doing another job during the day, but yet he told me he had to play daddy daycare during the day and wasn't working during the day. So he's got his wife thinking he's just working double time. I don't know what's going on, because the wife, I don't even want to talk about that. That's a whole nother story. She's extremely unprofessional. She has nothing to do with his business, but she inserted herself in the business. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I just want to stay focused on the red flags. So at the end of the day, this man has shown me more than enough red flags as to why I should have just parted ways, took him to court and sued him for the funds that I did give him and the work that he didn't do, and just stopped the process or whatever I needed to do, and move forward. And I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now where there's 13,000 plus of work that I need to do to fix what he messed up by putting sheetrock up when there was mold in the basement. So it spread, and all the sheetrock I paid for and he put up has to be torn down, treated for mold, and put back up. Like, it's just mind-boggling, the things I have to go through. But it's okay, because I put it in the universe. Everything's going to be all right. Things don't happen to me. They happen for me. And it's all going to work itself out. And it's not my problem to try to reason and figure out who, what, when, where, and how this problem is going to be fixed. I just put it out there. It's going to get handled. And that's why I'm a firm believer in what I believe in. It is what it is. More story time later about my experience and the journey of finishing my basement. Peace.